Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. We're going to give it a couple more minutes just for the people that are still logging in to finish logging in. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jesus Escutia. I am the program manager for the Building Business Back team. A little bit about ourselves. Let me introduce our team here. Like I mentioned, I am the program manager. It comprises of two other individuals, our director of operations, Paul Farmer, and our program analyst, Jose Luis Barajas, joining us via Zoom. Now, a little bit about today's workshop. We will be starting off with a brief description of the Building Business Back program, and then we're going to jump straight into the presentation from Digital Nest, and we'll leave some time at the end for Q&A. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them up in the chat box, and we'll get to them at the end of the presentation. One last thing, I also wanted to introduce our interpreter, Marisela Quesada. Para los que están escuchando en español, por favor, oprimen el icono del mundo en la inferior de la pantalla para cambiar al canal de español. Alrighty then. So, Building Business Back helps all businesses in Monterey County with a special emphasis on those belonging to historical underserved communities, such as women-owned, minority-owned, and LGBTQ plus owned businesses. Our program serves primarily as an informational hub where business owners and entrepreneurs can find and access the resources they need to be successful. Our team regularly updates our website with new grants, loans, utilities, government contracting, and many other programs of interest to businesses. Pardon me. We also host a number of hybrid workshops throughout the county that cover a wide range of topics, including startup assistance, navigating the permit center, getting certified as a diverse supplier, and this most recent one, digital marketing for small businesses. Most importantly, you can always count on assistance from one of our BBB team members. Our main office is in Salinas, but we recently added satellite office hours in several cities, including Soledad, King City, Pájaro, and Monterey. Now, our speaker today comes from a local organization called Digital Nest, which does not need any introduction within itself. So I'd like to present our speaker today, Jaciel Rangel. Jaciel? Yeah.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the workshop. So my name's Hasia. I'm the senior design specialist in business, which is kind of nested inside of Digital Nest. But yeah, so I'm kind of just a little bit about me. I'm kind of a assistant with my manager and interns. I project manage a lot of the clients we get. Business is kind of an internal agency that we try to do, a marketing agency that is an experience for youth 18 plus that come in. They interview and they build up a portfolio. They work with real clients, and we do things like websites, we do video, and we do graphic design. So that's any like print collateral or even online stuff, social media, things like that. But yeah, going on into today, I'll be doing like a brief Canva workshop, which is super helpful for small businesses. It makes it easy. Canva is a design platform that is supposed to be helping you make marketing collateral, whether that be online, print, and yeah, it's just kind of like made simple so that you can make any of those things. And we can go ahead and get started. So this is the Canva homepage. This is what you'll see once you make an account. Um, this is basically like the main dashboard and where you'll find everything you need. And I know it looks kind of like a lot, so I wanted to break down the homepage to just some of the stuff that I think will be the most useful for you guys. So first at the top, over here, you'll see my initials, HR. That's just going to be your account information. Anything can be edited in there. Will there be your email? You want a profile picture, or if you want to go into the plans and pricing, because there is a free version as opposed to the Canva Pro, which is a paid version. And we'll kind of go over it as the presentation goes on, because you'll see this little icon here, the little crown icon. And there's different things that are available for free versus the paid version. But in my opinion, depending on what you're trying to do, the free version is just as good. You just gotta work it a little bit. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started on some of the things on the homepage. The first thing I wanted to go over is the project tab. In this tab, you'll find all previous projects. And so if you are coming back into Canva after already working on something, you'll go into the projects tab. You can also see here at the bottom, there's recent designs, and I'll go over that in a little bit. But yeah, this is just where you can access all your previous things. The next tab I want to go over is the template tab. This lets you look at all the different templates Canva offers, and in my opinion, that's one of the most useful things Canva has. So I think it makes it really easy by just giving you already a lot of templates that look good. If you're not super design savvy, or if you don't consider yourself very creative, it gives you a really good starting point of something that already works. And then I want to go over these two sections on the homepage briefly. The top one is just you might want to try, and it gives you some of the templates, some of the more common ones, I think. It has document, whiteboard, presentation, an A4 document, which is basically just the printer one, the regular 8.5 by 11, Instagram post, and Instagram story, a flyer. And you can go through them here, or again, you can go through the templates, and it has a lot more than this. And then under this is you'll see the recent designs, which I briefly mentioned. If you want to just quickly access something you were previously working on, like these are just some other ones I was working on, and I can just quickly go into the create mode by clicking them. The next page, this is what it'll look like if you click the template tab. So you'll see again, this recommended, all of these are templates that I think are pretty common, and you go into it and it'll give you again another just like grid with a bunch of different templates, and you can kind of pick at the top here. You'll see kind of like themes or events, types of events. So you can also just search it like school or opening, schedule, or even a color. If you have a color in mind that is very decisive for your brand, you can even just look up blue or green. And again, it just gives you a starting point. Everything that you see in the templates is completely editable. You can add in your information, you can add in your picture, you can change the colors. And so for the next one, we'll go back into the homepage and we'll pretend like we're starting a new project. And just for this workshop, I was hoping to do a Facebook post, which I feel like is kind of common. But again, this is just an example of the many things they have. They have business cards, flyers, um, the presentations, whatever you may need. This is just an example. So let's say you're on the homepage and you say, okay, I want to do a Facebook post today. you can go into templates, and then you'll see it right here. It says Facebook post, but in case whatever you're looking for isn't on the recommended, you'll see these little things on the left-hand side. They're all drop-down menus essentially. So something for business, maybe a presentation, you'll click it and it'll drop down a list of options. So for anything social media, like a Facebook post, you'd click it and it'll have maybe Instagram post, Instagram story, Facebook post, Facebook story, things like that. And so once you click it, again, you'll be directed to a grid. So these are all examples that you have. At the top, again, it has just like themes that maybe you relate to and you go, okay, actually, I want to do that. Those are like tags. So whether it be summer, birthday, food, like a sale your business is having, it gives you examples. And so for today's, we're just going to scroll down and you'll see create blank. If none of the templates call your attention, you can always just start from scratch. And I think that's what we're going to do today, just to show you the process. But even if you create blank, there's a way to incorporate a template once you're already in there. And so I wanted to go over a little bit the design or the create section. So once you start designing, this is kind of the layout. Depending on what template you choose, it's going to look different. So this is already the size for a Facebook post, which is again super helpful. You don't have to look up what is the size for a Facebook post, because you don't want to post something and it's slightly cut off, or you want it to be right for whatever the format is. And I'm going to go over some of these on the side. I'm not going to go over all of them because some things like brand, that's more for the Canva Pro, but it's really useful if you are looking to, use this regularly and you feel like it's a good investment for your company. You can input your brand colors, your text, all these things, so that whenever you go into creating, you already have that ready. You don't have to upload anything. And so the first tab we're going to go over is the design tab. So depending on your project type, you can find templates in there, automated layouts, styles for the project. And this is kind of what it's going to look like. For a Facebook post, it only gives you template and styles at the top. So once you click design, there's these other two tabs. If you go into it and you realize like, oh, I actually don't know exactly how I want to lay this out, you can look at the templates and you can use these as a starting point, or you can pick one and say, this is perfect. I just want to fill in my text, and you can leave it at that. But for today, I think what we're going to do is use this template as a starting point. And then again, you'll see these little crowns. That's what I was talking about. All throughout, you'll see the little crown. That's the Canva Pro feature. I believe you can use it, but there is a watermark on it. So if you want to remove that, you would just pay, and you can do monthly versus yearly. If you just are like, oh, just this month, I'm gonna pump out a bunch of social media stuff, and you'll just pay for the month and get it over with. So that's the template tab, and then this is the styles. The styles gives you, like, if you don't already have brand colors and type and you just want to like play around with it, it gives you already combinations that are set up for you. The colors are set up, the type is set up, and again, you can click it and edit whatever you want, but this is just a starting point if you go, I don't know what looks good, if you have no idea about that. The next tab here on the left-hand side would be elements. So this is where any graphic elements you want to input will start, any shapes, picture frames. By picture frames, I mean if you want the frame of the picture to not just be regular square, you want it to be some sort of shape. Canva calls that a picture frame. And so you would look up frame and it has already a shape and you don't have to mask it or whatever. Or if you just want, any kind of graphics that you feel fit whatever you're making. Again, these are all free. You can just input them, resize them, however you like. They also have a lot of photos too that are free. The next section is text. So the text tab allows you to add text to the page. It lets you create default text styles. So if you want to save how it looks and make a combination of things that already have the same type of heading, so that'll be the same font and the same size, the same type of subheading, and again, it would follow those rules of size and font, so you don't have to pick it each time. And it also gives you font combinations if you just want to look through these and you're like, oh, this is cool. You can add it in and then just make it whatever you want it to say. So going into the text tab, I just wanted to show a little bit of the options. Once you click add text box, this will appear and you can type in whatever you want. And above, you'll see all these options. I just want to go through them really quick just so you know what exactly it would be. So up here is the fonts, and you get to pick whatever fonts Canva has. I believe you can upload a font, but again, that might be a pro feature if you want to look into that. But they do have a lot of good fonts if you just want to use whatever they have. The sizing, the color of the font, if you want it to be bold, italicized, or underlined, you can strike through, you can select text and you realize, oh, I want it to be all capitals. You can just click it and it converts it. The what's it called? The positioning of the text, whether that be centered or left aligned, right aligned. Bullet points, the line spacing. So if you have a paragraph and you feel like, oh, it's too condensed, it just looks too close together, you can space it out a little more. And they also have text effects. You can, like some of these on the side, there's glow, there's like different fonts together, things like that just add effects. You can also animate. Animate, I feel like, is really more for if you're doing videos. They also offer video templates, like if you're doing Instagram post and you want it to be a video, or if you're doing a presentation. So that, I mean, I'm sure maybe some of you are familiar with PowerPoint, so you use transition and some of the stuff moves in and out, things like that would be the animate. And position shows you just if you want to move it around, as well as transparency is lock. Transparency is just exactly what it says, so the opacity of what it is. You can make it darker, you can make it clear, and then lock in case you're like, okay, I'm done with this, I want to lock it, and you don't want to click on it anymore if you want to move a bunch of stuff around, but not that specific thing. The next tab I want to go over is uploads. Here, if you already have a bunch of images that you have in mind for whatever you're making, you can upload them all at once. Of course, you can drag and drop. I think a lot of us are used to just pulling it up that way. You can do that. That's perfectly fine. But if you have, let's say, a group of 10 photos, for whatever reason, you want to upload them online or on a social media thing or something, you can just upload the files and they'll all be here. So when you're ready to add them to the project, you can just go uploads and then drag them in. So when you get to the end of your project and you start realizing, okay, I feel like I'm ready to either share this with someone else, maybe a coworker, and you're like, maybe I want them to see it or make any edits, or they can also comment. You can share that right here. You can click the share and then you can add people. You just add their emails. I do think they have to have a Canva account. So I think if they don't have a Canva account, what it'll do is send them like, hey, this person wants you to see their Facebook post on Canva. And so they would make a Canva account and then they could access it. Additionally, Canva does have teams. So you can make it so that it's your company's Canva. And so it already pre-adds all your people that you've added and they all have access to all those projects. But I think with the free version, it only gives you a limited amount of team members you can add. And then if you wanted to have a group of maybe more than 7 people, something like that, you have to get the pro version. Or if you feel like, okay, I'm done, like it looks good to me and you want to download and get ready to post, you click share and then you go to the download section. And once you go to the download section, this other page will pop up and you can pick any file type. It'll give you the recommended or suggested file type for whatever template you're already using. So for this example, it was a Facebook post, so it says it suggests a PNG because it'll be a good quality for that. But if you wanted a PDF, you can go in there and it'll show PDF or it'll show PowerPoint, whatever you need. So when you're ready to go, you just kind of export and you have it saved to your computer. You can also choose pages. Here I had multiple pages, so you can say, oh, I just want the first page, or I wanted all of them, yeah. So after this, I wanted to go ahead and get into the live demo. I want to go into Canva and actually do these steps live for you guys, and do a Facebook post. So I'll switch over. Give me a second. Can you give me share access? Oh, I have access. Okay, I think everyone can see my screen. So this is kind of what we were already looking at. This is the create page. And again, I'm in a Facebook post. And you can see down here, I already have something. I set this up beforehand, but yours is going to be completely blank. But I think just for the sake of time, this is a template I found. And I think we can just try to recreate it without copy and pasting everything, right? So just so you can see exactly what the steps are. So I think the first thing I would do, especially if you already have some sort of creative vision, if you don't want to use a template, you can definitely sketch it out. I would start with pen and paper, just laying it out. It doesn't have to be fancy, it doesn't have to be really nice. It can be stick figures, it can be blobs. Like I think the biggest thing when creating something is you want to keep in mind the layout and the text. So once you have that ready to go, it kind of flows a lot easier when you're transferring it to digital. So let's say we found this, but this is not exactly what we want, or we want to recreate something similar to this. I would definitely start with the background elements first and then move forward. So I think first what I would do is go into design, and if I want to find like a starting point, I'll go into the templates, and you'll see again this like pro feature. And if I, some of these are videos too, so these are good for like stories. If I click the pro, it'll give me this. But you just find one that doesn't have that, and you can go ahead and go in there, change the text, whatever you want to put. So I think for the sake of this, we'll just be recreating it, but I just wanted to show you guys what that would look like. And then same like we talked about, styles are in here. So to recreate this, the first things I see, like, okay, I want some sort of organic shapes in the background. So I would go to elements and I can search out shape. And here you'll see sections. So there's the shapes, like these basic shapes, you can see all. And once you put them in, you can edit them. You can put text in them. But here we're looking for an organic shape, and I kind of look through this and I go, none of these really match what I'm looking for. So I would go back to all, and I think graphics would be the best thing. Again, there's photos, there's videos. These are the frames I was talking about for pictures. But I think for this sake, we need graphics. And then you'll see these again, the pro. So when you click on these, this is what I was talking about. It has a watermark. So these are the ones that if you want to remove the watermark, you would just have to get the pro version. So for this, I would say this kind of looks maybe like something I would want to use. So I can click on it, it automatically puts it on the board. And then on the corners, you'll see these bubbles. You can just resize. And then this will also pop up. This is just to start flipping it around. You can do all the way around however you want. So I'll resize it and then just move it to the side. It doesn't show it once you're off the board. So it just becomes part of it. And I think that's how you have to think about it for some of these shapes. You just want that section because it looks nice that way. It's not gonna be the whole thing like that. So I go, okay, I kind of like this, or maybe I should rotate it a little more. And so it comes in diagonally that way, kind of looks a little bit better layout wise. And then there's some other shapes in the background I want to fill in a little more. Maybe I'll get this one. So once you click on one, it also gives you these magic recommendations that are similar to whatever you already chose. And you can click see all, and there's a bunch of other ones. And again, if you have the pro, if that's something that you're looking to do, you'll have way more access to a lot of these. But regardless, I think you could definitely make it work with the free version. So this looks kind of good for like a corner piece. Maybe I'll just make it a little bigger. And we're already starting to shape out the background. And then you go, okay, well, it's white. I don't want it to be white. You can see I kind of just click this, you open it up, close it up. And then you click the background, you go into the colors, and you can do whatever you want here. There's gradients, solid colors. You can add your own color using the little color wheel here, solid or gradient. For the sake of this, I think maybe like a cream color would look nice. You also, when you're setting a lot of these up, you want to create contrast, especially thinking about the most important things, which are going to be like the text. So the background, I would say a lighter color would work because you want the text to stand out. You want the text to be like probably darker. You're thinking about stuff like that. But again, this is all if you're creating from scratch. You can totally just go in here, edit it. So the next thing I want to do is maybe get some text down or even look for some of these illustrations. It's totally up to you. I think right now I'll set up the illustrations and then we can fix up the text. So I would go back to elements, and then if I'm doing like this, the new store opening, I can look up store. And you'll see graphics, photos, videos. Again, I think because of what we're creating is more illustrative, I would go into graphics, see all. And some of them are pro, but like this one is free, this one. And you'll see this is the exact same one I used. We can use a different one just to mix it up. Let's say this one. And all the graphics you pick, they don't have to be that color. Once you bring it in, you'll see all these colors in the corner. You can customize it fully. Come in here and change that, or, just start playing with it. So I think that looks kind of good. Yeah. It's already starting to come together. And then, so I keep going and I go, okay, maybe I want to add this open sign also. I would just go back and search open sign. Whatever you want to look for, try it out. They have so many options. Some of them even move. So again, if you're doing like a Instagram story or Facebook story, having it move is super interactive. It makes people feel like, oh, it's actually like doing something. I'm not just staring at a photo. So you can do that. Let's see, which one do I like? I kind of like this one, but I feel like this is another thing when you're picking, making things from scratch, when you're picking all your graphics, you kind of start to think about the cohesion of what it looks like. And I feel like this like drawn on style looks very different from this, the illustrative. And it's just something to think about. Again, if you already have a template, you don't have to think about it too much. But if you do want to make things from scratch, I would say you have to consider those things because I feel like this might not look the same style as this. And so it kind of throws off the post. So even though I like it, maybe we'll delete that one. We'll do a different one. Oh, and see, this is what I'm talking about, the magic recommendations. Once you pick one and you're like, oh, I want more in that style, they have a bunch more. So once you're like, I actually really like this style, let's move towards this, you have a lot to choose from. So maybe this looks a little better, but you're like, oh, the red looks completely off. Go into the color, and there we go. And then I kind of didn't like it to be that same one, so maybe I move it over. Resize. I can do this if you want to. And so now that I feel like, okay, I have the background kind of solid, let's start adding my text. Go to text, and you can add a heading if you already want a certain size. You can just click it and it gives you that, or if you want, delete that one. If you want subheading, it's already a certain size. But you can also just add text box and customize it yourself. You can make it bigger by same as the shapes, you just grab it. And sometimes it can get tricky with the clicking. If you're clicking into it, you're typing and then you want to move it and you can't move it because you're like, oh, what the heck? There's a little button for it. So it makes it a little easier. So let's just copy the text from below. New store. So it's like weird. I just kind of grow it. Oh, it's the text box. Store opening. And I can change the font. I go in here and here are the font styles. I can see my recently used. If you have a brand, like if you paid for the pro and you already uploaded your font, it'll be right there. It's ready to use. Again, same thing with the brand. All your colors are in there, your logos. If you want to do it that way, it's easy. You just click it and everything's on brand already. But going back to this, since I don't have any set type, I'm just kind of looking around. Maybe I want to try this one, automatically changes it. And so different fonts have, different sizes. This one's a bit bigger and it's more condensed. So you may have to play around with the text box, whatever works, and click out of, you can click out of it and drag it on as too if you don't see the little button pop up. So, but I feel like maybe this feels too strong compared to like the soft colors and like the illustration I have going on. So I'll click it and kind of keep playing around. I do like this one, but it feels really thin to me. I don't know. You can change the weight of it depending on what comes with it. If you see these little arrows, there's another weight. So there's a medium and there's a bold. And then it also gives you like these little sparkles are the recommendations always. It gives you recommendations for your thing and you can click it and see it has a little arrow. Click the arrow. There's bold and there's regular. Same thing with this one. Depending on the font, they'll have a different amount. Like Lato has a good amount. It has hairline all the way to black. But yeah, a lot of them do only have two, or if you don't see the little arrow, the drop down arrow like this one, it's just that. There's no different weight for that one. So it's just something to think about, especially if you're making multiple posts and going back to brand, you want it to be somewhat consistent. So let's say you're like, oh, okay, I want to release this post and in about a week I want to do another one slightly different. You probably want it to be somewhat consistent, matching, whether that be the colors, the font, things like that. So keep in mind what font you're using, and if you want to do it again, just kind of thinking forward, thinking if you want to, okay, do I want to keep using this multiple times or etc. So for this one, I don't know, I can look around if you scroll, there's popular fonts. And again, you'll see this little crown. Those are the pro fonts, but there's so many without them. You don't really need it. So maybe I kind of like this, but I feel like maybe in a bold, it'll look nice. I don't know. What you can also do if you're struggling with colors or font, you'll go back to design, styles, and it'll remix your whole thing. I usually don't like doing it until the end so I can kind of play around, but just to show you guys, if I click into this, it'll automatically give me a layout, not a layout, but like a style for everything, the colors and the font, and it already looks a little more cohesive. And so you'll notice there's different colors too, and once you've already picked one, you can click shuffle and it'll give you different colors, moving it around. And so you can find whatever you like. Something else that I wanted to go over is sometimes when you're creating stuff, you go, oh, I don't like that. Actually, I wanted to go back to the last like three things I had. There's these arrows you can do undo or redo. So I can go all the way back. If I go, you know what, I don't even want to use these styles. I just want to do it myself. So I just click undo a couple times and we're back to this. And I'll go back into it and go, okay, let me just pick my own. Sorry. So, okay. Oh, actually, this one looks good. So I'll do this one. Play around with the weight of it, light, regular, bold. So I think I'll do this one. I kind of like how this looks. But then I look back at this and I go, okay, you know what? Since this is the main heading, the main title, I should probably make it bigger. And I can also do what they did, each word is on a line. So I'll shrink it down. Now each word is on a line, but it's aligned center. So you'll go here, alignment, and it'll move it over. You can also do the other way, whatever you feel fits for yours. I would say that right aligned this way doesn't always look the best because we read left to right. And so it feels a little off when you're doing it. I mean, if you're doing it on this side, it makes a little more sense. So that's just one of the design things to keep in mind. Click back, there it is now. And then I can highlight and I go, maybe I want it bold. Okay, click bold or maybe a little bigger. And you'll start see like it moves over because the text box is not big enough now. So I'll just go in there, open it up a bit. And then you move it around depending where you want it. And then you go, okay, well, the shape's kind of in the way. I don't want it to be completely in there. You can drag it over. You can also use your key commands for a lot of this stuff if you guys find that to be easier. And certain Canva things will tell you like undo Command Z or Control Z if you're on HP or Windows. So they'll show you all those little key commands if that's something that you're interested in. Okay, so now I'm setting it up and I'm kind of looking at this and feeling like maybe there's too much space here. It's taking up too much space. So I'll go to line spacing and you can do this. The letter spacing, it can be closer, further apart, but I kind of like where they're at, so I'll leave it there. But the line spacing does feel really big, so I'll kind of bring it back together. I can make it really big if that's really what I want to do. But I think since we're going to add more text at the bottom, it would be good to have it a little more condensed. So I think that looks good. I think I'm going to leave it that way. And so now we can move on to the details of the post. Same thing, you go into text, and then since it's smaller, I can add a text box and I can customize all of that again, but I think I'll just click add subheading, or I can even put body text and it's already smaller and it's like a thinner font. But I'll just keep subheading. I think that's fine. And then it's really bold, so it kind of competes with the title. So I'll unbold it. And then you can start seeing it come together. Again, we want to do the left align, so we'll click it over. And so here the details, depends what you want to put. In this one, we're going to do the day, the time, and the location. So you'll see those little icons and you'll go back to doing what you did with the background. Go to elements. And so for the date, let's look up calendar. I should mention so. And you'll go to graphics, see all. And they'll have all of these here for you. You can pick out what you think fits best. But again, keeping in mind that you want it to match the rest of the post so far. So let's find a free one because these have all the pro. This one looks good to me. I also like this one. Let's do this one just because it has like a thicker line. And so I'll just make it really tiny because it's more of an icon. It's just kind of letting people know what's going on. And you can change the color. Remember that all the graphic elements you bring in, you can totally edit them. Let's see. Maybe we'll pick this one. That looks right. So now I'll add in a day. Let's just put today. Thursday, August 24th. And then I'll highlight the text and be like, okay, maybe this needs to be a little smaller. Something to think about is just that you don't want to make the text too small either. You want it to be legible, especially if this is like a post that people are seeing on their phone. That's just something to think about. And you can always Google to what is the best text size for phone or for, social media, things like that. And usually you'll get a pretty clear answer. I think for me, I'm not going to go lower than like 16 most of the time if it's going to be seen on phone. But I'm not even going to go that low. I think 19 probably looks fine. But these are on different lines, so I want to adjust that. I'll just go back to the beginning and press backspace, and it'll be back on there. Yeah. You can do it 2 lines like this too, if you want. Even this one, this was a template, so I click on it and see 16 is probably the smallest type that they'll have. because it kind of is what's still legible at that size. So I'll go in here, kind of align it. You'll see these little lines as you drag stuff. That's just alignment suggestions, and it kind of snaps too. When you move it around, you'll notice that. So here it'll give me the center, or if I go to the bottom, it'll give me the bottom of the icon. Go to the top, it'll give me the alignment for the top. It just depends what you're trying to do. If you find that you can't really align it, what you can also do is click on both items. So you have this clicked already. You'll hold shift and get both of them. And you can group them, or you can go to align. You'll do right click, align, and these are the align options. So it'll have middle, and just it'll make sure it's completely aligned to the middle. And then you can group it, and now these two are together. So I can move it, now it's in the middle, and I don't have to click on individual things, it's just together. Yeah, of course. So I'll do it again. Let's start from the beginning. No, you're good, yeah. So again, you have the text selected. You have those automatically like click in. You click shift and click the other item, whatever you want to get. Now you have both selected. And you'll see this little menu pop up. Group is in there. You just group, and now they're together. And to ungroup, you just click into it and you'll see ungroup. Yeah, no problem, yeah.
So you put the cursor on the icon and you click shift.
Yeah. So yeah, to select multiple things, when you already have one thing selected, you hold shift, make sure you're holding throughout, find whatever else you want to get, and you can click like this. And that's when you let go of shift, when you're okay. I'm done selecting things. And now you have both. And again, the menu pop up, group, or if you don't want to group, you just want to move it together for, one time. You have them both now.
Click on the second thing and just
Mhm.
highlight it.
Yeah. But make sure you're clicking shift, yeah. So now that I have this, I kind of know that this is the text size I want for the other things, for the time and the location. So what I can do is just right click, copy. And again, you'll see all the key commands here. If you feel like you want to do the key commands, does make it quicker, but for the sake of this, I'll do the click-ins because it's a little more clear visually. So I'll click, I already copied it, so now I'll do paste. And oh, sorry, I don't think it did it. Copy, paste. Oh, it's not coming. I think there's another way to do it. I'm not sure if you have to use the key commands. Sometimes you do. It really depends. Well, I'll do it that way. There's a key command for it. It's option, but usually I think my computer's is not working. Usually if you do copy paste, I know you guys probably used it in documents. It's kind of the same thing. So I'll just do another one and you'll see it says the exact same thing. I can just go in there and okay, now I put the time. Let's copy kind of what this says. Open and then what 7 to 11. Open 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. And you can kind of just continue doing that, copy paste, bring the other one over. And then again, you'll see those little pink lines. Let me zoom in. So you see those little pink lines, those are just all alignment and you'll see the numbers. So that's just the amount of space that's between those things. So between the Thursday, the middle open and the last open, there's 59 pixels of space. And that's, you don't really need the number. That's just to let you know that there's an equal amount of distribution there. So then the second one, the third one will be the location. We'll just put the location here. What was it? Yeah. So we'll just do that. And now we have the text, but we don't have icons. So icons are a really good way of showing people what they need without reading the whole thing. Because a lot of times, especially through phone, people are just looking for whatever information they need. And once they see the little calendar, they go, okay, that's the day. Cool. I don't have to read the whole thing, whatever. So icons are a really good way of doing that. And for time, you can put in time or you can put in clock. Either way, you'll get options for that. You can go into graphics, and same thing as the calendar, you just try to find one that doesn't have the little crown and that you feel like fits with your design. I like this one because it has thick lines like the calendar. If I picked a really thin line one, you could do that and it's not a huge deal. It's just little design things you can think about. So I'll click it, it comes inside and I just have to make it tiny like the other one. You want it to look about the same. What I like to do in case I'm trying to make them about the same, I overlay it and I can see they're in the same square. So this is on top and I can just grab it. But if you find yourself seeing like, I'll just put it to the bottom. If you go, okay, it's under, I can't grab it, what the heck, like, what you can always do is move the top item and then grab it. Or you select something and then you go into position and you'll see the layers. So this lays out everything from background all the way to what's at the very top.
Where did you find that?
So you go into position. So you make sure you're clicking on anything. You can click on anything on the board. You go into position and there's a layers tab. There's also a range. I usually don't move into this that often, but this also works to align stuff. So you can align to page and it'll do the middle and center and it automatically adjusts it. But if you're like, oh, I can't grab the clock, it's under, it's only letting me grab the calendar, you can go into layers after clicking position and there's the clock and you can just drag it wherever you want. So now I just want it on top of the calendar, so I'll just move it over and now I have the clock. And then, so the next one we want to do is location. So I'll type in location and you'll see graphics for it. See all. There it is. This seems like makes sense to me and kind of works with what we have going so far. And so I kind of want it to be the same size as this one, but you'll notice this one is a rectangle and it's not a square, so it's not gonna be the exact same size, but kind of just wing it. I go, okay, this looks about the same, and sometimes visually it looks smaller than the other ones. So you go, this one kind of doesn't look as big as the other two. Maybe I'll just have to make it a little bigger. And it's okay if it's not the same size. So now I want these to match the rest of the template I have going on. So I can just click it and I want them to be the same color. So I'll do the shift again. I have one selected. I have shift holded. I'm still holding shifts. And then I click the clock. I let go of shift. Oh, it doesn't give me the colors. Okay. So I guess you have to do it one by one. Just click into one. And then you find the color. I think it's this one. Yeah. If you don't know exactly what, like you have a lot of colors like me, you can always go into the other one and see what color it is. And it gives you the color code where you can see the location where it is. You're like, okay, it's next to this purple. So I'll go back to this. It's next to this purple. Perfect. And so, yeah, now we have these three icons and they're kind of representative of this. And if you feel like, oh, maybe this type isn't as bold as I want it to be, you can go in there, make it bold, or you can go and find the font you have. So it's this one, the one with the check will be the font that you have. Click down, and I want it to be medium. I don't want it to be as thick as this one, but I want it to be still a standout information. So yeah, I mean, that's the basics of it. Did you guys have any questions so far? Can you guys see me? I think the Zoom went out.
There you are.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yes, we can hear you. The Zoom was still functional and we left off at any questions. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to type them in the chat box or use the raise hand feature and we'll go ahead and unmute you. We'll give you guys a few seconds to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, go ahead.
For the template below that you have, that you're kind of copying,
Mm-hmm.
can you just change the color elements in the template, the existing template?
100%. Yeah, so
Yes.
yeah, so we can do that too. Let's add a page. We'll go into design templates. And let's say you want the grand opening too. You look through them, and again, you'll have the pro ones. You can't use those, but let's say you want this one, just as a simple one. And you go, I don't want this picture, I want my own picture. You go into uploads, or you can, again, just drag and drop, but I can go into uploads and then just bring this in, and it automatically puts in your photo. My photos aren't loading right now, but yeah, I know that that was a gradient. So I just dragged it in, and it's in there, and then you go, I want this box to be completely white. You come in, make it white, but then it's still not looking all the way because the template had automatically made it transparent. So you go in here and it's at 70. You can make it 100. Or you can make it even clearer if you want. Yeah, but everything is editable. I can go in here and same thing with the store. I can edit the colors. I can just put in my store. Yeah, you go, I don't really like this. You can delete that. Even these shapes, all the
But like
colors.
The whole layout of colors, can you go into that one where you had all the, shows you the.
Oh, yeah,
color styles.
yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, it's because I have the search. So I can go in here and then it'll just automatically do it. Yeah. This is super helpful.
Yeah.
And you kind of just shuffle through. If you like that color palette, but you don't like the way it laid it out, shuffle through until you find one that you like. And that can be done once you have your brand kit. So if you've uploaded all your colors, your fonts, you can do the same thing as this. You shuffle through and it'll make it your brand because you've already uploaded all your stuff. Yeah, and so this is like, for example, this is another one I made, or this one, which is all the same, but it's just different colors or fonts. Yeah, go ahead.
I have Canva Pro for my business and I designed my business website using super new, right? This is just me learning on YouTube and if you have time, if you could pull up my website and see what I did, and if there's anything you would change or you recommend, I think that'd be helpful, right?
Okay.
But I know it's not related to what we're doing now. But it is, you can look at it like a example that's
Yeah.
done on Canva,
Okay, yeah.
you know?
What's your site?
Monterey Car Company.
This one?
Yeah. So like I was looking for images of Monterey, right? And that's the only one that came up. There's a lot of like ocean and aquarium stuff, which is cool, but I kind of wanted something. Everything was done on Canva. That's not the bottom ones, but pretty much just, I mean, all those pictures I just uploaded, but like the top portion, like that piece right there was all done on Canva. I mean, if you were looking at it as a, you know, a student's project, what would you tell your student, like, hey, maybe you should move this, or, you know, use it, because I don't know.
Yeah. I guess from a design eye, what I first see here is that there's a lot going on.
Sure.
So there's images on top of images, there's text on top of image, which can be tricky to work with because
Again, it's a very interesting type of business, right? Because I have to like boom tell all at once.
yeah.
I have only like few seconds, right? Because I sell cars. They need to know what I do and what kind of product they can get from me, right?
Yeah.
So I have to sell them a lot of images too. And so that's what's kind of like also the idea if someone does go there.
Yeah.
Sure, it's a little bit of a brain, like, whoa, too much information overload. But hey, I'm always, you know, I'm all ears.
Yeah.
Maybe remove the images you're saying, or just keep like view?
I think either or, because you have car images down here, maybe you don't need these.
Yeah.
And they kind of peek through.
Yeah.
So as even just first glance, I go,
Right.
okay, this is Monterey. Oh, look, there's car images.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, cool. So maybe you don't need double of these. Or if you want to keep this one, I would make this background a solid color or a gradient. Because you're already reading that it's Monterey. Maybe I don't need to see the image. It's up to you.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
The beaches do sell, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
People love that.
feel like you're at home, you know, it's
Mhm.
very like small town vibe.
Yeah.
This is old, so that definitely, those pictures are gonna go away,
These,
because there's already a gallery underneath, right?
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that would be my first recommendation. I think the second would be also, I'm thinking there might be a lot of different fonts going on. So I think just for brand,
Yeah.
picking two at most makes it a little stronger, and just seeing like how they work together.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But other than that, yeah, I think those changes would help in general, because I think the first thing I do see is that it feels like a lot of images.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's definitely gonna go then.
So thank you for that question. We do have one more question online before we go ahead and conclude today's presentation. And the question is from Mr. Mike Mueller, and it's, can I hyperlink to maps and websites? So if you insert a link and you download the either image or PDF document, does the hyperlink still function?
Yeah, it should. Yeah, so you can go in here, highlight what you want to drop the link into, and I believe, oh, here it is. So you put link. You put in your
Would you
link.
mind sharing your screen real quick?
Oh, am I not sharing?
No, not on Zoom.
This isn't sharing. Do I reshare?
So you were putting link into a store open now, and that there's a link.
Yeah. Once
That
you
would-
highlight the text.
That wouldn't work on Facebook.
On a Facebook post, I don't think so, because you download as a PNG. I think it's also important what you download the file as. Yeah. Oh, can people on Zoom see it now?
Yeah.
No? Oh, it says loading. Hold on. Maybe.
So, sure.
No, it's.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. Let me
All right,
try.
well, no worries. We know that it still works and people can reach out to Hasiel if they have any questions regarding
Yeah.
that. So thank you, Hasiel, for your presentation. So what are the next steps for everyone that attended here today? You can visit our website at montereycountybusiness.com. You can review the business programs and incentives page. Additionally, we do have a formal partnership with Digital Nest, so you can reach out to us or contact them directly to see what kind of services they might be able to offer your business. You can also contact our team and schedule a free individual consultation. All of our services are free to you because the County of Monterey has dedicated funding to helping businesses recover from the pandemic, and all of our services are also confidential. That being said, we want to thank you all for joining us for today's workshop. We want to thank Digital Nest for collaborating with us on this important resource to the attention of business owners, the PG Chamber of Commerce for hosting our workshop today in person, and the County of Monterey for making this workshop possible and making these resources accessible at no cost to business owners within our county. We would like to invite you all to our next workshop. It's going to be over in Salinas on Wednesday, September 6th. It's titled Contracting Opportunities with the City of Salinas. There are 2 sessions, one in English from 8 a.m. till 9 a.m. and one in Spanish from 9 a.m. till 10 a.m. And both will take place at the community room at the Salinas Police Department located on East Alisal Street. We hope to see you there. Thank you for joining.